everyone. Hopefully you can hear me alright with the sound of the waves here. I'm just going to flick the camera around so you can see where I am. The lovely Nisa. Just having a lunch break from my day job. I have to say I'm very surprised at the weather. It was torrential rain coming up, like I almost couldn't see driving up here. So I put a post up a little bit earlier around what did you get out of this year, 2017. I haven't put a comment there yet, but I will. So thank you for everybody who has put a comment. What I probably got out of 2017 was getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Because of starting coaching and doing these videos online, it certainly wasn't something that I've ever done before, and something that I was terrified to do. Even though I present in my day job and coaching and everything, it's very different when you've got little faces facing you and you can, I guess, read people and see whether your jokes are landing, and you get a vibe for how it's all going. But on a live, all you see is yourself, which is a bit daunting to start with, but also you don't know sort of how it's being received. So it can be pretty terrifying, as you can imagine. So most of you would have heard of Muhammad Ali. So he was the heavyweight champion of the world. He won gold in boxing, and he's very famous for being quite controversial, but also being very inspiring. Newsweek interviewed him, and he was famously quoted as saying, when it came to his training, he hated it. He hated every minute of it. But he was of the mindset that you suffer now and later he will be a champion. And most great artists, academics, athletes throughout history, when you look at them, they all have that common thing, that they persevere, they have this consistent persistence, and ultimately that is what pays off. That's what leads to their success. Each one of you, me included, can have great success, but the difference between, I guess, the average person and the people who we see who are leaders in their field who've gone on to great success is that consistent persistence and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So no doubt they have had times where they've been very uncomfortable, feeling insecure, questioning and doubting themselves. It's hard work, you know, getting up for training at 4:30 in the morning if you're an athlete, or if you're a pianist and you have to practice day after day after day. It can get pretty mundane and boring and tedious. So they push through, but what separates them is that ability to exercise against that resistance that the mind plays. One way to think of it is, when you have adversity and when you have difficulties, think of it almost like weight training, that this is a great opportunity for me to go to the gym, but it's the gym for your mind. So what that's doing is creating an obstacle, but it allows you to step up to the challenge. One of the best ways to do it is to start small. So say you wanted to be a writer, and you know, you're procrastinating or you're doubting yourself as to, you know, what to write, how to get started. Set yourself small tasks. So say 100 words a day. Then it has to be a consistency, so it has to be done every day. You want to challenge yourself so that each time you do it, there's a little bit more. So you might up the ante to 200 words a day. So you want to be challenging yourself all the time. Now, it's important to check in, it's important to check that review. So whether that's a weekly review, regardless of what the task is, but we'll stick to the writing for now. When you feel resistance, it's really important to sit with it. Most of us don't like feeling uncomfortable. We don't like negative emotions. We want to run from them as fast as we can, which is why people turn to various addictive things, whether it's an emotional eating, drugs, alcohol. It's a whole range of behaviours there. So just get used to sitting with it. Negative emotions are never going to feel nice, that's why they're negative, but sitting with them is not going to kill you. It's important to acknowledge them and have a little bit of time to reflect as to where they're coming from. We can, within coaching and NLP coaching, we can actually remove a lot of those negative triggers that are coming up for you quite quickly, but we have to acknowledge them first and see where they're coming from, and only you know the answer to that. So that's how you start to develop a little bit of mental resistance, by actually sitting with the emotion itself. Then obviously, as I said, you need to have a review, so a weekly review to check in to see, okay, did I do my 100 words a day? Was I doing it consistently every day? And if there were days that you fell off the wagon, so to speak, find out why. See what obstacles were there and why they managed to get in the way. Then you want to celebrate your wins. So if you've got through the week, you've written your 100 words every day, you want to celebrate that. Only you can decide what that celebration is. It might be that you just go and have coffee and cake somewhere, or it can be just a very small, simple thing. But you have to celebrate your wins as you go. So each of those little steps, by starting small, being consistent, sitting with that mental resistance, or sitting with the negative emotion, having some time to reflect as to where it's come from, have a weekly review, and then celebrate your wins. Because ultimately, when we go through these challenges and we step up to the plate and go through them, I can assure you it's the best feeling in the world. The first time I did a live, it was absolutely terrifying. I can tell you, my heart was pounding and racing, and I remember calling or messaging Joel, who's my business coach, and saying it was the most terrifying thing I've done. Oh my God. Like, I was just almost beside myself. I couldn't believe it, especially when I'd been presenting for so long. And then afterwards I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like, it just was such a great feeling that I was terrified. I did it, I survived, it wasn't a complete disaster, but now, several months down the track, I don't really think too much of it, but there's other things that I'm still mastering and learning to do. But it's just such a great feeling when you have those little successes. It gives you that boost of self-confidence, and it just helps propel you further forward to actually reach your potential. So that's my 5 minutes. Hopefully that was close to 5 minutes. I didn't actually have my timer on, but look, have an awesome day, everybody, and I will check in with you all again very soon. And I'll send you off with a little view of the beach before I go.